All right, YouTube, we back again. We back at it. Um, I'm gonna call this one old school because I got on the old school Kango. It's an old school Kango. Check it out, Kango. You see, if you from the neighborhood, the old men used to rock these. So I got one now. I'm 51 now, so I'm getting older. I have some of my players calling me, "What's up, OG?" So they call me OG. So I take that. So it's good to be considered an OG. All right. Got a little bit to talk about today, of course. There's news every day, so I'm just trying to figure this thing out, like how I want to do it. If I want to do it every day. So far, I've been trying to do it every day because there's always something to say. Um, Even on Saturday, I do Saturday and Sunday. Stephen A. them cats don't do Saturday and Sunday. I do. They don't do it unless it's breaking news. All right. But things happen on the weekend too. All right. All right. Let's jump into it. As I watch what's going on and how I've seen things change in the NBA, well, sports period. But I tend to talk probably more about the NBA because that's what I was involved in. Um, I asked the question: do NBA players need an agent now? Because the at least for the first contract, the money seems to be slotted. So they already know what they're going to get. So do they really need an agent? What exactly does the agent do? You know what I'm saying? So it seems like you're paying, 4%, 10%, or whatever for something that you could possibly be doing yourself. I can remember when I was a player, Sam Bowie, uh, when I was in New Jersey, he and his wife decided that they were going to represent him. And I remember us thinking, man, you crazy. You got to need an agent. Sam Bowie was on to something. He was actually ahead of his time. From what I've heard about Jaylen Brown, read about Jaylen Brown, his first contract, Jaylen Brown didn't have an agent. Jaylen Brown decided to do it himself because the money was already slotted. So, do NBA players need an agent? Um, I tend to think that the players, you think that you don't have time for it and stuff like that, but you do have time for it. You do have time to manage your money, manage yourself. Who better to represent you than you? Who better to go out? I mean, it's you don't normally want to do those things, but I mean, to build who better to build your brand than you? As an NBA player. So I would say my personal opinion is players probably don't need an agent. Maybe some agents may not like to hear that. They might say, "Oh, we do all this and that," but unless you're emotionally invested in a guy, I can't see where you care a whole lot about him. And I say this again because you look at the situation with the Morris twin where he says that he fired Rich Paul because Rich Paul steered him away from going to the Lakers, competing with LeBron. So you know, you make your own judgment, but I'm saying that players can probably better represent themselves right now, at least right now, with the way the salaries are. Now, you might need to have a guy to help you with some of the lingo, because I do think some of these agents are friends with these GMs, and they've got little deals going. All right, I'll sign this guy for this if you bring my guy into camp. I do think a lot of that goes on. Because you have some guys in camp sometimes that you like, well, oh, well, I know why he's there. He got there because his brother's this, or he got there because he's friend or went to college with this guy. But I mean, that's I think that's a good question to think about. All right. Another thing, NBA players controlling their destiny. I love it. I love that the guys like force they're able to force the owner's hand, or not the owner but the GM, and like, look, I want to go here, here, here. I love that the NBA players are controlling their destiny. um well, at least the big time guys. Most of the guys, like a guy in my position, I couldn't control my destiny. I had to go where there was a need for me. But like guys that force their way out of situations that they don't want to be in, I happen to like the player control. I think it's a good thing that the players have some type of power, and it seems like okay. And you look at the situation. I mean, even if in the NFL, you look at the situation with Melvin Gordon. He's holding out for a contract. Um, he wants more money. You know, he should be paid with that of the top backs in the league for his production, what he's been doing. So Melvin Gordon is holding out. You know, Antonio Brown forced his way out of Pittsburgh. Le'Veon Bell forced his way out of Pittsburgh. You know, it's not just NBA players, but NFL players too. I love them trying to control their own destinies, especially with the NFL guys, because their contracts aren't guaranteed, and they should have guaranteed contracts where the owners are, you know, bringing in a lot of money. They should be able to guarantee these guys contracts, and with the physical aspect of the sport, um, you know, it's tough on their bodies, man. I mean, like, you know, I watched Booger McFarland yesterday talk on television, and to see his fingers, I mean, like on his left hand was just like this. I mean, you know, I mean, I'm glad to see him doing what he's doing. I think Booger is one of the better football announcers on TV, and he speaks really well, and you know, he does a great job. But um, I love that these guys are controlling their destinies in both sports. And even, okay, we'll talk about soccer too. The dude Neymar. Neymar is forcing his way out of his club, going to another club. All right. So, I mean, I love all these players being able to force the team's hand and go where they want to play. You know, that's good stuff to me. All right. Taco Fall. You know, I'm a big Taco Fall fan, big Taco Fall guy. I think the Celtics did the right thing by bringing him in. I think he should have been drafted. I don't know how you don't draft a 7'7" guy that can move and play. Um, but Taco Fall wants to meet Kevin Garnett. And I think that's great. I think that, you know, I've called the NBA or emailed and talked to some people in the NBA about starting a mentoring program for these NBA guys coming in, you know, that don't know the league. You could tell them about the league. You know, everybody's not built for it, but there are some guys that would love to stay connected to the league, and this would be a way to keep guys and uh, connected to the league. Also, it'll be a way to teach the younger players some of the history of guys that they probably didn't even know played in the league. I'll give you a perfect example. When I was working with the Lakers, I'm in the training room every day, just walking around. Uh, Vladimir Radmanovich and Sasha Vujicic. They're foreigners, but still, you still need to know the history of the sport you play. So they're in the training room with me, and Sasha Vujicic jokingly says, "Oh, did you ever play in the league?" And just kind of like giggle behind it. So I said, "Yeah, you know, I did 13 years." And the look on his face was like, "You did 13 years?" And after that, it was like the whole, like every day our conversation changed after that. So I think the NBA should implement a mentoring program to keep, you know, older players closer to the game. And it could help younger players, you know. And I'm not just talking about, like, you know, everybody know who Doc and George Gervin, you know, when I was coming out here, you know, Kareem, everybody know those guys, you know. But I'm saying, like, you know, guy in my situation who everybody may not know, you know, it'd be good um, to you know these guys, and these guys know you. You can tell them about different things in the league, and you know, but it's kind of hard. A lot of these guys got a lot of people got to go through to get to them now. But I think this is something that the league, it would help the league if they implemented something like that. All right, next thing, the Spurs hired Tim Duncan as an assistant coach. Like I said, I always talk about it. I always will say it. I'm all for former players being back involved. Now, every former player is not built to coach, you know, but you can find something for the former players to do that fits their strength. I'm happy to see that Pop hired Timmy. I do see Timmy like more in a front office role, just because of his personality. When I played with the Spurs, he's more. I think he's more of a front office guy. But hey, I'm glad to see him on the bench. I think there's a lot to learn from him. Even a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, who's a very good player, can learn a lot from Tim Duncan. As far as on the low post and when to do things and stuff like that on the floor. So I'm all for the former players. Like I said, I'll always say that. I'm all for former players coaching and doing things in football, baseball. You look at the baseball players. Um, you see baseball guys making baseball decisions. You don't always see that in basketball. We need basketball people making basketball decisions. It's more to it just running and jumping, and dunking. It's more to the game than that. You have to watch more aspects of what players do. You have to watch what players do off the ball. Is he active off the ball? Is he just a guy that's going to stand and watch? Is he a ball stopper? There's different things about the game um, that you need to watch. So again, happy for Timmy. He'll do a great job as an assistant coach, I think. Um, but I see him more in a front office role. But again, former player getting hired, I love it. We need more of that. We need more of that because there's plenty of things that former players is a lot of things that former players can do and help the young and help grow the game and keep the game going. Keep the game keep basketball alive and well. We want to take care of the game. Like the NFL has the thing where they say protect the shield. Hey, in the NBA, protect the shield too. All right. All right, next thing. Uh Eric Reed, my man, Eric Reed was very critical of the new LSU locker room. Um, and he thinks that some of that money could go to the players being paid. And I don't agree. I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him at all. I love Eric Reed. If you don't know who he is, took the stance with Colin Kaepernick. He continued to take the knee. Even last year, he continues to take the knee. But um, as far as the players getting paid, I mean, a lot. If you saw pictures of that locker room, it was absolutely insane. And he has a point there. College sports make so much money now. I don't know if I put the money into the hands of the college athletes. I don't know if I put maybe if there was something where they could have an account, create some type of account for the athletes where they put this money in an account, okay, and you got so many years to graduate, maybe like 5, 6 years to graduate, and then you get this money. I think that would be something because all players like on that level, when you go to LSU, when you go to Alabama, when you go to Texas, when you go to Clemson, you go to Georgia, when you go to these schools, football players, you all have the dream of playing in the NFL, but everybody's not going to be able to play in the NFL. There's only so many spots. So I think if they were able to, you know, put something in an account, whereas if this kid doesn't make it, you can come back to school, you graduate, and after you graduate, you get this money to help get you a head start so you don't start out in debt. That would be, I think that could be something. Also, there needs to be something where you teach kids how to be entrepreneurs and how to spend money. How to take care of your money. There has to be something like that. Not sure. I've been out of school a long time. Not sure if they're doing that yet, but there has to be something. Now, I know they do it when you get in the pros. They do things, but there has to be something to teach kids how to take care of the money. Before they get it. Before they get it, so that the when you're first thing you do when you get paid, don't go buy a car and buy a bunch of jewelry and stuff like that. So, I tend to agree with Eric Reed, but I don't know if I put the money in the kids' hands. You have a lot of these administrators making a lot of money. What are they doing? What are you doing for that money? You know what I'm saying? So, it's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject. So, we'll see. We'll see how that ends up. But that's it for today. Like I said, I like to come on real quick. I talk about any and everything. Also, I do the IGTV, so I'll talk about different things on IGTV. But hey, drop a like, drop a dislike. I'm trying to do this thing better, having some fun. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, let me know why you don't like it. Don't just say, "Oh man, you whack. I don't like you." Don't tell me why I'm whack. You know what I'm saying? So. Shout out to my man again, Derek Chivas. Shout out to my man Reggie Stark. homeboy I grew up with back in New York. So, and shout out, to everybody. And again, I'd like to leave you with something positive. All right, be nice to people. Life is short, and enjoy your life. All right, peace.